again, it just works.
So Fallout 76 has now been out about a week, and I personally am just shocked at what I've played. Fallout 76 was not ready. It needed much more development time, but ultimately Bethesda did not wish to wait, and wanted that November right before the holidays release, and now, well, the game already is going on sale, which seems to be Bethesda's way to try and get the game in as many hands as possible, which is a similar move Activision has recently done with Destiny 2, although in that instance they legit have been giving the game away to draw interest back. And last year, the same thing happened with EA and Star Wars Battlefront 2 after all the backlash and just controversy that surrounded that game for a while. Anyway, Fallout 76 reviews continue to emerge, and it still is not looking good. Eurogamer gave the game a rating of a void, describing the experience as a bizarre, boring, broken mess. Game Central rated the game a 3 out of 10, saying Fallout 76 may be the most badly made video game we've ever seen from a major publisher. And later they would add, it's such a poorly made game that it risks ruining the reputation of both the series and its makers. In other words, the fallout from Fallout 76 will be something Bethesda are dealing with for many years to come. On OpenCritic, based off of 37 reviews, the game has an overall score of a 54 out of 100, with the top score as of this moment sitting at a 7.8 out of 10, and the lowest being a 3.0 out of 10. To Metacritic, it's really the same story. The PlayStation 4 version has a 49 out of 100 based off of 13 reviews, with not one being positive so far. PC has a 61 out of 100 based off of 8 reviews, and the Xbox One has a 62 out of 100 based off of 6 reviews. Also, as of recording this video, more reviews actually continue to come in, and as you can see, the scores are getting worse. Anyway, there's no denying that this game is disliked by many. Taking a look at a poll I did on my channel asking you guys for your impressions, it's mostly a negative reception towards the game based off of 61,000 votes. Now, to a Fallout-based channel, Juicehead did a similar poll days before, and it's mostly positive from about 77,000 votes. What these polls tell me is that the big Fallout fans and players really are enjoying the game, feeling positive about the experience, while those who aren't as invested in the franchise, well, it seems to be more mixed to negative. Interestingly, I've seen a lot of those loving the game telling me I need to keep my opinions to myself, and I'm just being a hater, while I've also seen some people who actually like the game being called corporate shills. If you're one of those people saying these things, you're what's wrong with gaming in the definition of toxic. People are going to have opinions, and guess what? This is crazy, but sometimes they won't agree with yours, I know. Take a pause, because to some people that's shocking. I've been saying it, but I'll keep saying it. If you're enjoying Fallout 76, that's great, but just understand many do not feel the same way and feel Bethesda has made numerous mistakes with this live service game. Also, in my last video, some Bethesda fans were trying to trash me on Reddit saying I lied about Bethesda not being clear what this game was. Are you kidding me? The communication with this game has been an utter disaster. My point was, in late May, we got this trailer, which many did not believe to be multiplayer, something Kotaku confirmed was the case, and people attacked them and tried discrediting them because they did not like what they were reporting. Days later at E3 2018, the report was confirmed, but Bethesda omitted many key details like how PvP would work, like how griefing would be handled, like if modding would return, like how the story would work, and like how the beta would not be arriving until a few weeks before launch. Understand if you have to dig around for an article or an interview to get answers on basic gameplay features, that's not good. Bethesda could have spent 5 more minutes at their E3 showcase discussing story, modding, griefing, and so on and so forth, but they did not. And I'm sure that wasn't on purpose, but I do think that the company has been rushing to release, which is ultimately the biggest problem with Fallout 76. Now, at the beginning of this video, I showed footage of just some of the bugs players have faced, and I think we can all agree the honeymoon phase with Bethesda bugs are over. It was a good laugh at E3, but the fact that this has been a notable issue with every Bethesda game ever is unacceptable. We criticize EA and Activision for bugs, but Bethesda has always earned a laugh instead. But the reason why was because the product was usually pretty darn good, although now we're dealing with a situation where there's more bugs than usual and a not so good product. But this leads to the main topic of this video, and it's something I've heard many say, and that is that this game will be good later on, like Destiny 2, Elder Scrolls Online, No Man's Sky, Rainbow Six Siege, and many other games that eventually made a comeback. The issue I take with these comparisons is that saying Fallout 76 will be good one day does not excuse it not being good November 14th, the day it officially released. Right now the game should have been released early access at best, because that's what it feels like. It does not feel like a finished AAA $60 game. Oh, and I know some of the Bethesda really hardcore fans want to defend this game right now, but I'm sorry to say, playing with friends is not a feature. Also, I saw someone say Bethesda was pretty clear what their game would be, and how it would be constantly evolving. It's not finished because it's meant to be built upon. So yeah, that's the excuse people are actually making right now, which I will say is pathetic, and also it kind of acknowledges the game is unfinished. Besides the bugs, I've already stated the numerous fundamental issues I have with Fallout 76 in my last 2 videos on this. And overall the game just is boring right now. Beautiful world, but that's about it. If Bethesda really wants to No Man's Sky Fallout 76, they will have to address fundamental problems, like for one, if it's even possible, including human NPCs is definitely something that could help this game and make this boring world a little bit more interesting. All the game's quests are designed around pretty much holotapes or robots, and I'll be honest, that story structure gets way too repetitive. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's even possible, but maybe including a DLC where 2 NPC rival factions enter into Appalachia could spice things up a little bit. Now, something I haven't talked about before is PvP, which unfortunately, because of all the measures Bethesda took to stop griefing, PvP is pretty much non-existent. I mean, for many it just doesn't feel like PvP is truly realized, and walking into somebody in the world, well, you don't really feel threatened or there's no tension, wondering what the player may or may not do. Bethesda previously revealed a faction-based PvP system would be coming soon, although nobody really knows what or how that'll work. But my hope again is, this is something I'm not sure if it's possible, but adding a server where if you see someone you just engage in combat could be interesting, although for this to be possible, we would need to be able to pick a server, which right now is not possible. Now, another thing that Bethesda should do is speed up work on modding and private servers. Right now it's said to come at the earliest November 2019, which in my opinion is fucking ridiculous. I'm sure Bethesda wants that atomic shop to feature hundreds of items, make sure it's milked to death before they allow modding, but at this point, I feel letting players customize their experience could be something that saves Fallout 76. Overall though, the fact that I'm even discussing this possibility is sad, and something that is becoming the norm with live service games. As it stands, Fallout 76 is just a boring mess in my opinion. Sure, it potentially could get better, but then there's people posting theories that Bethesda threw their Austin studio on this game while the other studios like their main Maryland office works on Starfield. Like I said, that's a theory and one that some believe is the case. If Fallout 76 is going to become a good game, a lot of work will be needed to be done, and I just wonder if for one it's possible, and I say that because of the limitations with the hardware used with this game, and really a lot of Bethesda's past games. I just really wonder what more is possible in terms of content. Also, if all of Bethesda now is back on Fallout 76 trying to improve the game, I do wonder if this will have an effect at all on the development of Starfield. There really are many questions to be asked, but if this game does have a chance to get better, Bethesda will need to work fast, as first impressions matter. Many games that got better later on, like Destiny 2, lost most of its audience, and I really don't know if people will be willing to give this title a second chance later, unless some drastic changes are made. As it stands, Fallout 76 needed much more time, and my $60 purchase on release should not have to be a wait and see if it gets better one day. Games don't get an excuse for potentially improving later on, and looking back at that Game Central review, they said something that I've been pondering about. Has Bethesda ruined their reputation with fans? Obviously, opinions will differ on that question, but I think for certain, the days of laughing off Bethesda's flaws from game design to bugs are over. Bethesda, back around, let's just say 2010, was really only competing against Rockstar Games with first or third person open world games. But 8 years later, the bar continues to be raised. Studios like Rockstar Games with Red Dead Redemption 2, Guerrilla Games with Horizon Zero Dawn, Insomniac Games with Spider-Man, and CD Projekt Red with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt have delivered innovative open-world titles, while Bethesda for the most part has stayed put, adding a new lighting system and some better textures, but that's really about it. Hopefully with all the criticism being thrown Bethesda's way, they will learn from it, and not make the same mistakes with future projects like Starfield, because many of the complaints with Fallout 76 are not because it's just an online game. But in conclusion, if Bethesda invests the time and work, of course Fallout 76 can improve. But like No Man's Sky, it really is hard to say if the millions that played at launch will return to give the game a second chance later. No Man's Sky was a game that did not achieve its comeback until a year and a half after launch, and that studio Hello Games went silent until they had big updates to share, and even today many still feel burned by No Man's Sky, something that unfortunately Bethesda will have to deal with in the future. No matter what they do, that will not change how the game was launched and the first impressions many had with it. But what do you guys think Bethesda can or must do to improve Fallout 76? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.